It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by ProMed Ambulance Services, care you can count on, and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. Sometimes known as the man of 1,000 voices, Rich Little has been one of America's foremost impressionists for over 50 years. Born in Ottawa on November 26, 1938, Little was the second of three sons to a surgeon father and housewife mother. A third-generation Canadian, he is descended from English stock on his father's side and Irish on his mother's. In his early teens, he formed a partnership with Jeff Scott, another budding impressionist and future-elected politician, performing at various local events and venues before Little got a job as a disc jockey at radio station CJET. In 1963, Little issued two albums through the Canadian division of Capitol Records. The first was My Fellow Canadians with Last Lie. The album was inspired by Von Meter's hit American album, The First Family, and concentrated on Canadian political satire, featuring Little impersonating Canadian celebrities such as John Diefenbaker, Lester Pearson, and Tommy Douglas. Little's second album, Scrooge and the Stars, featured the performer acting out Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol entirely on his own, playing all the roles as 22 different Hollywood stars, ranging from Jack Benny to Jack Webb. The album was released in early November, but it had to be withdrawn a few weeks later due to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, as Little had imitated JFK in the role of the Spirit of Christmas Present. Not long afterward, Little made his American debut at Guy Lombardo's Inn and Country Club in Tierra Verde, Florida. His American career was helped by Frank Pepiat and John Aylesworth, a Canadian writing team who had moved to Hollywood to work on various specials and variety series, including The Judy Garland Show and later Hee Haw. Familiar with Little's work in Canada, Pepiat had worked on The Jackie Ray Show, on which Little made a TV appearance at age 17, and the team had written for Little's Canadian nightclub act. In January 1964, Little made his American TV debut on the aforementioned Judy Garland Show, followed by appearances on other variety and talk shows. Concurrent with making these rounds, Little hosted his own radio show for the CBC, provided the voice of the Pink Panther in two theatrical cartoons, and had a regular role on the sitcom Love on a Rooftop in 1966, which ran just one season. His other TV acting appearances during this period were on shows such as That Girl, The Flying Nun, and Petticoat Junction. During the 1970s, Rich Little became world-renowned for his impression of Richard Nixon, making many TV appearances portraying the disgraced president, and once performed the impersonation in front of Nixon himself. His best-known continuing TV stint was as one of the Copycats, a group of impressionists who guest-hosted 7 of 13 episodes of the ABC Comedy Hour in 1972. Other members included Frank Gorshin, Marilyn Michaels, and George Kirby, in full costume and makeup for every sketch. Later in the 70s, Little frequently guested on Dean Martin's Celebrity Roast specials. In 1978, fronted his own one-man show, Rich Little's Christmas Carol, which became his first HBO special. The success of that special was followed by Rich Little's Robin Hood in 1983. During this period, he was a frequent guest host for Johnny Carson. However, he stopped appearing on The Tonight Show after 1982 because of Carson's objection toward Little impersonating him. In 1981, Little and a cast of other entertainers recorded the album The First Family Rides Again, a follow-up to the 1962 million seller, this time focusing on the Reagan White House. Outside of any comedic context, Little's talent for impersonation has been used in movies when an actor's dialogue was impaired by poor health, such as David Niven and James Cagney on 2 separate occasions. In 1987 TV special celebrating the 200th anniversary of the U.S. Constitution, Little impersonated various historical figures, including Franklin D. Roosevelt, Edward R. Murrow, and Martin Luther King Jr. His performance was described as eclectic, impersonating Henry Fonda as Abraham Lincoln and doing Winston Churchill giving a rousing speech. Since the 1960s, Little has been a fixture in Las Vegas, largely because opportunities for him to work in TV and film were on the wane in the coming decades. He has been active in several charities, including the Juvenile Diabetes Fund and the Children's Miracle Network. In 2017, he published his memoir, Little by Little, People I Have Known and Met. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me for Trivia Tracks weekdays at 6:45 on Everybody's Country Y95.